So, thank you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Like I said, on such a busy night and with so much chaos going on in the cosmos. Thank you for showing up. And if you're watching this later, thank you as well. There is a lot going on in the cosmos. There is so much. California, where we are, they're preparing for a winter storm, the Midwest, all around. So work like this is really important. Finding ways to ground and to center. And as I've been calling this lately, like a radical approach to your spiritual practice. Because as I see it, it's not just so much the Akashic Records, but it's the Akashic Realm and the ability to work in this higher vibration. So thank you. Thank you for joining me. I see a couple of people that were not here last month and I've had a couple of trainings. This is our third. And so the way in which I teach is to build upon each, but I'll give you a good background tonight and allow you to experience some of this work for yourself. I know we're busy, and that's actually kind of my story, starting way back in New York. Extremely busy. I was running around, 2 small children, married. I just gotten jewelry contracts with Eileen Fisher stores. Busy, busy, busy. And I knew that something was off in my marriage, but I didn't want to pay attention. I was just so busy in and out of the city until that one morning when he walks into the kitchen and he's like, I'm in love with her. That made me stop. And in that moment, I heard, who are you? Who have you been listening to? And that voice was amazing. That voice is actually still with me today, but at the time, I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea what a guide was then. But it sent me on a search to find out more about myself and who I was and who I'd been listening to. So, of course, divorce and all that kind of energy sent me down all the paths that we go on. Therapy, children's therapies, couples therapies, in and out, that kind of stuff. But really, nothing was working. 9 months into the process, I was having panic attacks. My children were acting out. I was missing my deadlines with Eileen Fisher stores. And it was my 40th birthday, and a friend of mine found some twins. She's like, hey, one's an astrologer, one's a spiritual teacher. Let's go. She went to the astrologer. I went right to the spiritual counselor. I didn't even know what that meant. But I knew I needed help. And so I met Catherine. We talked. We did some breathing. She did some hands-on stuff. And I left. Then sitting in my car, I felt so much peace, so much calm. And then I heard it again. You're gonna be okay. This time it was so loud that I turned around to look. Like, really? Who is that? Like, I don't know. Whatever that voice is, I'm following it. I'm going to see what this is about. And I remember making that promise right then and there that my children were not just going to survive, they were going to thrive. And so I started seeing Catherine. I started going there and working with her. And then I found out that you could learn this hands-on stuff called Reiki for yourself. And that was huge for me. And so I started learning. I started practicing with my children. I started noticing so many shifts with them. Calming down, centering, transition times. I kept going. I kept learning. I kept growing. And then I was in New York during 9/11, and Catherine was looking for people for her ministry, interfaith ministry of spiritual counseling, to help out at the 9/11 and on Long Island too. I joined in. I became an interfaith minister of spiritual counseling. Took a vow to help humanity. Now that's pretty big. And it's something that we can work with, spiritual contracts, vows, commitments in the Akashic Realm. I really did not know what I was taking a vow to. Now I've kind of grown into that, but that was pretty big. And I will say my kids thrived. They went on, they graduated, jobs, the whole bit. And then I came back to Birmingham, where I am now, to help my parents. Opened up my business down here in the South, which was not easy. And so many things have come forward for me. I've published some books, Confessions of a Shower Tapper. I was in Freddie Silva's book this past year, Portals of Energy. I've even been published in Woman's World magazine. I've written a tarot deck. So many things have come forward for me because of the spiritual practice, because of learning and growing and working in these higher realms of consciousness. So I do offer that to you today, that it is possible to open up, to make changes in your life. I was that little old girl afraid living in New York, how was I going to survive? What was I going to do? And I kept following the path, listening to that guidance. And it shows up for me today as well, although now I'm more trained in what that voice is about. So that is my story. So welcome. And I want to share that with you as well, because my purpose is to help empower others, to help you find the ways in which you can get out of the physical body, the limited beliefs of the mind, and recognize we're more than our body. We have this soul that's here just to learn and to grow. So let's take a moment, as I like to do, and open up, tune in, what I call spirit to spirit. And I want you to notice where you are right now. How do you feel? Maybe you're running around just to catch this. Maybe your mind's a little busy. I want you to notice, because this is an important part of this work, is noticing how you feel and what you are doing. All right, we're going to tune in. We're going to call in the sacred elements. And I would just like to ask that you join in with me as we call in the elements to also bring some of that awareness that we are made up of the sacred elements, as well as sending some of this out into the universe, out into California for the fire and the air and the earth and the water, even where we are preparing for a winter storm all around. So let's allow ourselves to feel the sacred elements within us and send some prayers as we go to tune in. So I like to start with lighting some fire. If you have some, perhaps you can light some. Otherwise, I will light some here. If you'd like to go ahead and just close your eyes. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, bring in that breath all the way down as we call in the element of fire. Fire, inspiring the soul, pulling our energies in. And as we align with this element, we send some prayers out to the fires out west, asking that they be tempered, balanced, as we feel the energy of the fire within us to be balanced as well. We notice that smoke that then turns to the element of air, calling in air to clear the mind, clear our space. We ask that these winds, this air element, be tempered as well, to soothe those winds out west and all around us. We call in the element of water, open the heart, allow for the flow of energy, the emotions, opening intuition, and we allow for that element of water to be tempered as well. The water out there to put out the fires, clear the smoke. For the water here, even the ice. For those in the Midwest, the East, the South, all around us to feel that temperance and balancing of elements. We call in the element of earth. To ground, to center, sending Mother Earth so much love in all of this chaos, that these elements may be balanced and tempered within us and all around. Taking another deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, bringing that breath all the way down, deep into the earth, slowing down. Inhale, expanding that breath up the body. And as you exhale, begin to align your energy, calling in the spiritual body right on top of the emotional, mental, physical bodies, all centering. Inhale, taking another deep breath, breathing up the body. And this time as you exhale, just dropping right into the heart, right into the deepest part of your heart. Feel that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit. Know that you're loved, guided, protected. Feeling all this energy coming in around us as we go to set this sacred space. We call in the Reiki masters. We call in our teachers that have come before us. We call in the angels to open the heart with love, joy. We call in the crystal beings for amusement, magnification. And now let us call in our higher self right above the crown to receive the messages, bringing them all the way through the body. Taking another deep inhale, expanding the breath all the way up. Move beyond the crown, through the higher self, up into the higher realms. And as you exhale, calling in absolute light, streams of grace all the way down deep into the earth. Inhale, expanding that breath all the way up the body. And as you exhale, sending it all the way back down deep into the earth. All the way down. And as you take that next breath, opening up this radiant light, inhaling through the crown, through the higher self, all the way up. And exhale, breathing all the way back down. Coming into the heart. And as you take that next breath, we're going to expand from the heart, opening the aura all the way around. And exhale, pulling it all the way back in. Inhale, expanding it all around the aura, front, side, back, side. And exhale, pulling it all the way back in. Opening the aura, letting your energy breathe and move, inhaling and exhaling. Returning to that vertical breath, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, breathing all the way back down, deep into the earth. Coming back into the heart. Just taking a little pause here. And take a moment and just notice already the shifts. Calmer perhaps. Slowing down. And just acknowledging, as we open up that radiance, we start to get out of this 3D world. We start to move into that higher vibration of light. We build upon this light body, this radiance opening up. 3D is that staying in the mind. 4D is all that suffering and the archetypes and the judgments. So we want to move beyond. And that's how we open up into the Akashic Realm. Taking another deep inhale and exhale. We open up that Raku energy. We know this from Reiki, the vertical, horizontal breaths. And now as you're ready, if you'd like, you can blink the eyes back open, just noticing how you do feel. This is what we want to do. We want to bring and build and create this foundation. This is how we start to begin to work in the Akashic Realm. And really, this is how all of us work. Mediumship, intuitive readings. You have a foundation. You set it up. This helps you to know, just like we do with our sacred space, you build that energy. So you build that connection. And as we talked about in our last training last month, the guides, the guardians, the angels, we start to build that connection as well, each and every time. So like that voice that I heard when I didn't even know what it was, it guided me to hear again, you're going to be okay. And it continues to guide me today. And so we continue to build it and we have that commitment. I like to say we make a pact. I learned this from one of my teachers, Susan Giesman, a pact. We have patience with ourselves. We allow ourselves to be in that flow of light, of energy. We commit. Very big. We commit to doing this work and then we trust. Trust is really key and that's why we build this foundation. So tonight, we're talking about energy imprints. We're getting a little more specific than we did in our last training because I have found so many amazing, remarkable results from my clients when we start to figure out what is the root of these imprints. Where do they come from? And then we use our tools because I work in the Akashic Realm with all the tools. The Reiki, the intuition, the tarot, the EFT, the stones, the crystals, the colors, the light, all of it to receive all those messages to help us break free of these patterns. Because really, that's what we want to remember. We're not just a body. We have this soul. We have this connection with the development of who we are. It helps us to understand the journey of our soul. So energy imprints, what are they? I actually spoke on the Reiki Ray Summit about this topic, all right? It's such an incredible topic. Talking about how we can use Reiki in the Akashic Realm, and it's gone on to expand how we can use all of our tools in the Akashic Realm. But energy imprints, I guess if you were to define it, you would say that they're the result of significant emotional events where the intensity of feelings create a mark, a lasting mark on your energetic field. So it's like an animation. It's something that creates this trigger in our behavior in this lifetime. Now, it doesn't always have to be created in this lifetime, and that's the power of working in the Akashic Realm. We work in past, present, or future, and lots of times some of these triggers happen in a past life. So one of the reasons we also do this breathing and expanding is because we start to open up the higher chakras, right? Most of us know the 7 chakras, but when we get into the 8th chakra, that's the energy of our legacy, of our past lives. So we start to breathe. That's why sometimes we can remember things and sometimes we can't. Then we go into the 9th chakra, and that's the sole purpose of this lifetime. And then we have that higher self to help us filter. We help us to open up to those higher realms. So this is how we start to access all this information, right? So there's a lot of ways in which we start to look at why this idea of energy imprints is so important, right? Generally, we start with like, okay, what is the behavior? What keeps repeating? So I know I put a little worksheet in your handouts, in your emails. What did you write down? What is something that keeps repeating in your life? All right. So for example, one of my clients, I love this story, worked with her for a long time. She wanted to do this healing work. She's particularly interested in sound bowls. We worked together, private mentoring. We did the records. So she came on and did readings with me because what was happening is every time she went to put an event out or she scheduled something, sure enough, something would happen. She'd cancel, she'd self-sabotage, and it wouldn't happen. But yet she had so much talent. Like, what is it? What's going on? So we decided to do this Akashic reading. And so what we did is we went into the realm, asking her guardian to help us understand what was going on. And so what we determined was that in a past life, she had been the keeper of like a little shop, more like an herbal shop, where she would prepare her recipes. She'd have a journal, write down, and so people would come in and she'd give them herbs. You could see a little brown paper bag. I could still see that. And so she would give them, they'd come back. So one day a man came in and his wife was very sick, and she gave him a formula for his wife. Brew it up, give it to her. But what she didn't know is the wife was already very sick. The husband came back, and it turns out the wife died. And with that, he brought like the town police or whatever you called it way back then, but came with her and took her journals. She had to promise she would never do it again, never write again, never do this kind of work again. There's her contract right there. There's that energy imprint. And so in this lifetime, it was showing up. Not that she was exactly doing the same work. Actually, as I think about this, when she first came to me, she wanted to do plant work, but decided she wanted to do sound. She didn't want to do plant work. Very interesting. I just thought about that. And so as we started to work with that, what we found out in a past life, and we started to use some of the tools that we use, the forgiveness, the love, the tapping, especially the tapping, we started to help her break free. Now, many times, even just uncovering this imprint will help you break free, but then we want to do, in the 3D world, the neuroscience, the create the new pathways to help her break free. The results? She's gone on to doing sound bowls, and she actually did go back to plants. She has a company now called Resourced Apothecary, where she is doing herb work, talking about, she even has a podcast now. It's pretty fascinating how far she's come with that, because we were able to break up those imprints. Amazing story. I had another client that she was in not a great relationship, and she really wanted to get out of the relationship, but she just kept seeing herself as being alone and just like afraid and isolated. So we went back into her records, and what she started to determine, there was actually 2 things. One was that she had taken on from her family, very young, that it wasn't good to be a soul individual woman. Like it was like a spinster energy. And so it made her very afraid of judgment of other people. And then we went back even further, and what we turned up was that in another lifetime, her father had taken her to a monastery because the mother had died. And so what happened was that she got left there, him thinking it was better for her, her thinking she wasn't loved. And so she thought she was going to live in this life of being totally, totally isolated and lonely. But as we began to break up the energy, and as she began to recognize, like, those were not her feelings of today's society. She had friends, she had a social life. She began to break through and realize, no, she wasn't going to be lonely. I could still see that, like the rocket chair and her in a corner and never getting out. But that's not really what happened. And so she was able to break free and hence go on. Now she has this amazing apartment overlooking the city. She's on her own, and she was able to break out of those old patterns. Amazing examples, really, right there of what we can do when we start to get to the root of it. Because what happens is that these impacts, these things that get triggered, and they can get triggered all through, as we'll go back and do an exercise with, then we start having behavior patterns related to that. Right? And you start repeating these certain patterns, struggling with it and not knowing why you can't break through. Sometimes they're transgenerational energies as well. I've got a few stories of my own about generational energies of old imprints. We thank our generations, we thank our ancestors, but we don't have to carry them on. Right? And then there's so much awareness and so much healing that can come forward as well. But then the bigger work to do, and this is what I love to do and love to work in the records with, is the clearing. You can go get records all day long. And before I started to learn the records, actually I talk about it on the podcast this week because I talk about developing intuition, but you can go get records and find out so many things about your past lives and Queen of Sheba and you lived with Moses, Jesus, whatever. It is fascinating, but the work that I like to do is help you to clear and help you to have the tools to let those imprints go so that your soul can grow and dream and live the life that you want to live. It is quite fascinating when we start to get to the root of what it is. All right, so great examples, right? I can share more, but we're going to do an exercise now. We're going to go back into the work. Mute somebody here. We're going to go back up into the realm, and what we want to do is start to call in our guardian. All right, we talked about this last week, so if you weren't here last week, that's okay. But we're going to call in the guardian, and we're going to ask the question. And what you want to do is whatever you wrote down as your imprint, or you could think of one now, you're going to ask, show me. First, we're going to start with the earliest memory. And then we're going to go back to the root of it. Generally, you may not remember the root. I mean, I was working with somebody yesterday who went back into the womb. We can't remember that, but the body holds. It's kind of the story of the story I had in the Portals book was like this old past life energy. We can't remember it, but we have sensations in the body. The body remembers. And then maybe we'll even go into past life to see if you can connect it. All right, now, here's the thing. This is new for many of you, and that's okay. We want to start just noticing, using all the clairs. The seeing, the hearing, the feeling, the knowing, the smelling, all of it. Now, maybe you just see a color, or maybe you get an impression, or maybe you get a feeling. That's very important. And we start to acknowledge it. And we start to bring it forward, and we start to go and grow with this energy more and more and more. And that's how you start to build the foundation, build the work, and start to break through and get all these messages and create, as we talked about last time, create this connection to the guides for the guidance that you need right now. Now, there's many ways that you can picture the Akashic records. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit. Sometimes it helps to see a visual. All right, so let's see. When I first started, this is kind of how I saw it. I would go in, I'd see all these rooms, and I would see all these lights. All right, so this is kind of how I started. However, I will say that when I started to connect with my star people, I started seeing it like this. The more I acknowledged it, the more I would still see the books, but it was the galaxy of light. Showed me my own growth, really. So however you do, if it's like this or if it's the other way, that doesn't really matter. What you want to do is create that foundation for you. So maybe you're just going to have an inkling, maybe you'll have a sight, maybe you are already visual and you can see. That's great. And that's what we want to do. We're going to take another exercise now, or we're going to go back into that breathing. We're going to open up into the galaxies. We're going to ask permission. We always ask permission into our records. And then we're going to move through the exercise. Now, one of the beautiful things, and this is actually why this radical approach to working in the Akashic Realm, is that we don't judge it. We don't judge our soul. We may judge our humanness, but we don't judge our soul. And the other beautiful thing is you can confirm with your guides and your guardians, they tell us the truth. We just have to listen. Half the time we're going to go, no, not that. No, I don't trust that. Humanness, right? So that's why we want to open up and move through those higher chakras, move through the higher self, into the higher realms, so that you can start to access this energy. All right? We're going to do this exercise now. So just coming back, returning right into the heart. Taking a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. Exhale, breathing all the way back down, building that radiance. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, bring in the breath all the way back down. And again, inhale, moving beyond the crown, 8th, 9th, higher self, into the higher realms. Absolute light streams of grace just coming in, feeling that radiance, building your radiance. That Kundalini energy, Shushunda channel, however you see it. Inhaling and exhaling. And again, inhaling, breathing up the body. Exhale, breathing all the way back down. Slowing down. Opening up. As we go to create this space, imagine crystals all around you, creating this beautiful sacred space. Using the breath, we open up and start to move in through these tunnels of light into the higher realms of possibility, moving through the veil of roses. We ask permission. We honor our paths. We honor trajectories. We know there are no wrong choices, just possibilities. We ask permission to enter up into the Akashic Realm. We move through these channels of light, opening up. And now imagine, pretend, visualize, feel, notice your Akashic Realm. What does it look like for you? Are there books, lights, colors, the galaxy? See yourself. Feel the shift of energy. Notice what that is for you. And then we call in your guardian to come forward. Call it in. I notice my guardian always tends to show up right here. So wherever it is for you, notice. My guardian tends to show up very tall. So as I look and see, I notice. Showing up with the book, my records. Notice for you. And now the question becomes, show me. Show me that earliest memory of this pattern, this behavior. You ask. Notice what you notice. Maybe colors come in, sound, light, feelings. And then just imagine yourself being guided down this corridor, hallway of books, of rooms. Trust. Don't judge. And then as you go down this corridor, find yourself stopping at a room, opening that door. Notice the light, the shadows, the color, the feeling, the sensations, what you hear, what you see. See if you see yourself in that imprint of energy. Let it unfold. Notice. Ask. Is this what I need to know? One of the great questions we continue to ask, show me more. Show me more about this old energy imprint that keeps trapping me in this pattern. Maybe you see yourself in that pattern. Just notice, don't judge. Now this is where I like to call in Reiki, call it in, Hanjusei Shonin, Hanjusei Shonin, Hanjusei Shonin, long distance healing. Back to that time. We want to just soothe the energy. It's not like we could take it away, but we can soothe that charge, that animation, start to get to where the energy imprints can dissolve. Imagine it dissolving. Feel that soothing energy, loving that younger part of you. Take a breath. Notice what you notice. You can even ask the higher self, show me more. And now maybe you will be guided out of that room. We always thank the energy, thank you. And then we go down the corridor, into another room. Maybe you don't even remember this room. Ask for some of the root. Show me where this first came in. This is where we get to just be guided. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but we open up that imprint of energy. So notice for you what happens. Maybe the light shifts. Maybe you see yourself younger, a baby. Maybe you see yourself in your mother's womb. What is it? Many times we come in to help our parents. We choose our parents. And so we take on energy, and then we grow and it doesn't suit us anymore. Happens. I see it all the time. I've seen it for me. So now notice in this realm, this room, ask, show me. Color shifts, sound shifts, feelings, smells. We use all the senses. We offer gratitude for whatever shows up. We allow that Reiki to still move through. Ho'oponopono, just, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry we keep repeating this. Very powerful. I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you. To your soul, no judgment. Just to your soul, we offer this love. We offer this light. That's what we want to do. Love ourselves. Again, we're just the soul. Take a breath. Notice how you feel as you see and feel and experience this very, very, very root of it, the younger part of you. And now we're going to, let's just be curious. We're going to ask to take us back into another life. Perhaps, if that is the root, ask your guardian, can I go back into a past life? Is this connected to another parallel of energy that keeps getting triggered in this life? Just ask. Receive the message right through the higher self. And if you are open to it, we start to move through time and space all the way through. Lots of times I see clouds moving, indicating we're moving back into space, back into time. We know no time and space in the realm. Reiki knows no time and space. We just go there and allow yourself to go, travel through time until you find yourself landing in another lifetime. And just begin to notice, look around, feel and see and hear. Maybe it's a color, maybe it's light, maybe it's sound, maybe it's a visual. Maybe you see yourself in this other space doing this similar thing, or even making a contract to never do something else again. We want to just honor that. Thank you. Many times we don't often see why we did that. We don't see the reasons, but we make this. Very often ends of life. I'll never do this again. I'm so sorry. That's what we want to bring forward with love, with guidance, with light, easing the soul. Thank you. Thank you for showing me this. sending love, sending forgiveness. No judgment. What are those parallels? We feel it in the body. We have a knowing. The body does remember. The mind won't, the body will. Take a breath. Just sending some light, sending some love from the heart. Calling in the angels. I feel the angels coming in for ease and effortlessness. Calling in Raphael for the healing of this imprint for you. We make new contracts for our present life to help us clear that. Take another deep breath. I want to thank the guardians for showing us all of this. Thank the guides for coming in, the energy of Reiki, the angels. Gratitude keeps that vibration lifted. Again, no judgment. What do you notice? And we want to bring the wisdom forward. So we offer the gratitude for this past life, whatever glimpse you saw, felt, heard, noticed. And we start to bring that energy forward, back through those corridors, back through these rooms of light, of books, of energy, of information, coming back into that galaxy of energy. Take a pause here, noticing love and gratitude. Thank you. Now, this is the place you make that commitment. I will come back. I will work with this. I like to work with tapping. This is an old energy. I choose to let this go. We continue, but now we have the awareness. And that's what we continue to commit to show up, to trust the messages, to work with it and allow that flow to help us now create new neural pathways, new ways of understanding our soul's journey, all with love, all with light. Take a deep inhale. And to exhale, we're going to grab all of this energy up with all these beautiful angels too. I'm seeing some selenite light coming in. Selenite, pure clarity, light, the selenite beings, just giving us a little extra amusement. And so we're going to start to come all the way back down. Back down through this tunnel of light, coming all the way back with the wisdom we've uncovered. Releasing the stress, the struggles, all the way back down into this present life. Feel yourself grounding with Mother Earth, acknowledging, here I am. And we just take a moment. We want to separate out. So imagine a crystal ball above your head and imagine your name in red and reaching up, releasing beautiful absolute light, streams of grace. Allow yourself to feel that. Make a note on your paper of anything that came forward for you. Color, light, sound, guides, angels, anything at all. This is where you will commit to that connection to keep working with this light, this energy, to free yourself of the patterns. Take a breath, take a drink of water perhaps, if you want to blink your eyes back open. Water is a good transmuter of energy. Because now, here's the other part. In our 3D world, we're human. We've got that duality going on. What's going to happen is it's going to come back around again. But the awareness that you have learned about, you're going to let yourself go, wait a minute. Thank you for showing up. Gratitude. Thank you for showing up. This is an old pattern. I choose not to. The minute you catch yourself in that old pattern, whatever it is, you offer the gratitude, thank you for showing up, and now you're going to choose not to do that anymore. The more you do it, the quicker you do it, the more then you begin to make those new pathways. Whether it's an image of your younger self, whether it's a breaking of a thought pattern, whatever it is, that's what we want to start doing. Now, I do offer the tools to help us. That's why we work with so many tools. The Ho'oponopono is one of the tools we work with. EFT, emotional freedom technique, and that helps set up that pattern, and then it becomes quicker and quicker and quicker. It's pretty fascinating. Even I know for myself, breaking through imprints, I'll share one of mine. I share a lot. So I've been working on trying to raise my ceiling for abundance, right? And I have one of these that came in through my generational energies. So some of my Ashkenazic energy goes back to like Russia, actually probably the Ukraine now. And when I do like my shows and my events, I have like my sound bowl bags and I have my cards and I have my jewelry. So sometimes I feel like I'm like a peddler, right? And some of that gypsy energy comes forward. And so a past life came up for me where I was like the orphan of the town. Like everybody loved me, but they all felt sorry for me. Right? It's like, poor Terry, poor Terry. So as I began to work with that, what I started doing was I started shifting that, thanking that for coming up, but shifting the image of it. Showing up in beautiful clothes and scarves and jewelry. And so the attraction was there. It wasn't poor Terry. It's like, wow, look at her. Let's go talk to her. And let me tell you, some of the things that have been showing up for me, it's been amazing. I will share with you as well. So maybe you've had a few moments. If you want to put any information in the chat, please do. I'd love to hear if this was effective for you. And this is the way in which I teach. This is how we work in the Akashic Records, and I'd love to share my program coming up. We start on the 22nd. If you'd like to learn a little bit about it, I'm going to share a little bit about it. I do have a really great bonus to offer tonight. So here we are. It's Soul.Work in the Akashic Realm. So as we've mentioned, we use all of our tools: Reiki, crystal, color, guides and angels, EFT, intuition, the Ho'oponopono, pranic energy, chakra work, auric field, anything else we can. We use all the tools. It's not like you just go up there and have to read. That's kind of how I was taught. You just go up there and use the Akashic Record tools, but it didn't make sense to me. So I bring all of the tools together. Very fascinating. So what will you gain by learning how to read your own records? Expanded consciousness. I love working in that higher state, right? We move from the humanness of 3D into the higher states. We work with the vibration, the color, the sound, the vision, the energy. It is medicine of the future. I have gone further and further than in any other therapy ever by doing this work. I kid you not. You develop your intuition. I'm going to talk about that on the Empowered Spirit Show. And we actually start with developing your intuition. So some of you have taken that with me. Some of you haven't. But we want to really start to really look at all the clairs and really start to develop it. And again, trust. Trust is the biggest thing. But as I talk about, actually on the podcast this week, I talk about how much my intuition grew. I started noticing all of the intuition, the clairs coming in. We connect with our spiritual team. We talked about this last time, the last training. We start to really build those guides and angels and ancestors, and they provide support on your journey. And then you keep having them. Keep having them. They keep showing up for you, just like that voice kept showing up and continues to show up for guidance in my own life. We heal past traumas like we're working today. We get really into it. And in the group, in the class, we get into like even talking about it. And you can ask questions. What do you think about this? Because it helps to have confirmation. It really does. And that's how you grow and really feeling that confidence, having that confirmation as you start to release these patterns and beliefs that no longer serve you. And then how do you feel? Greater peace. Greater fulfillment. You gain a deeper understanding of your own soul's journey, meaning you find meaning and amusement. I mean, like this, just it's amusement. When we feel those 1111s, those feathers on the ground, we start to find the guidance. It feels great, a deeper connection. Just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And we start to work in this realm of possibility. So in the class, we cover from the guardian and guides, developing intuition. We start with timeline readings, past lives. This year, I'm going to do some star people. I did not teach this last year, but I've really grown. So we will do some star people work, soul purpose, generational imprints, very powerful, even money imprints. I have lots of stories to share about that. And I will say, I always forget to say this, but I am accredited with the ACHA, the Association of Accredited Holistic Healers. I am recognized by them, so you will get a certificate, and I do have some scholarships available. All right, most of my trainings now have accreditation. Here are the details. Wednesdays at this time, 6 to 7:15 Central. We start on January 22nd, goes through March 12th. However, I have a bonus class next week. This will not be a free class next week if you can, and you haven't had much intuition training. We'll start with that. So that's a bonus class. There's two options. You can do it just as a group program, or you can do the group and VIP if you want some one-on-one and really get into your deep imprints, whatever's going on for you. So here's the thing tonight. Look at this. I haven't done this before. Offering 50% off. Here's your code. So Trusting Your Intuition is January 15th. You will also get a personal one-on-one call with me. If you register now, this is only going to be good for 24 hours. All right. This is for showing up for this. Promise you not. 24 hours, 50% off. So what does that translate to? Group class. Here we go. Normal was $7.99 at 50% off, $399.50, or 3 payments of $137.50, or like I said, one-on-one. And let me tell you, my soul sessions are $200, so this is a great price. All right, VIP option, normal price is $14.97, $748.50, or 3 payments of $257.50. Again, a little bit more than one session, but still, what a great price. What a great learning. How much you'll learn to have a teacher recite that everything is connected with. So some of the chapters in here that we pulled out, we can look at, and you will kind of dictate the class too if you come join us. Trusting your intuition, breath, the keys, how do you access it? Soul contracts, right? We're talking about those vows and making new contracts really big. Soul purpose, timeline, past life, wisdom, future. Yes, you can work in the future. I'm not a predictive teacher, but I'm a projective. We look at the projections of it, and you can start to look at how you can look down into the future and create those possibilities. We rewire the brain, the star beings, as we've talked about. So many amazing things that we work with. So take a moment, just looking at this quote. Because ultimately, to work in the Akashic records of your soul is to delve into the sacred tapestry of your being, where every thought, emotion, and experience is woven, offering a profound understanding of your life's journey and the potential for deep healing and transformation. Know thyself, and you shall know the universe and the gods, for sure. So here it is. Here's your bonus. Again, midnight tomorrow, so you must fax action join. Class again doesn't start till the 22nd, but next week will be a bonus call. All right, if you're not sure, schedule a call, Akashic Records call. I'll put the links to the follow-up email, but you can click on this right here. Schedule a call. I love to talk to people. Whether it's for you or not, we'll find out. And you can find more information on my website at Soul.Work. I'll put those links as well for you. All right, so you can find the payment page. You will just click on the link. It will say the full price, but you put the promo code in, Imprints 50, and the bonus price will come up for you. Great deal, great offering. And you know what? If this class isn't for you, that's okay too. Find me on the Empowered Spirit Show. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Terry Ann Hyman, or Energy Mastery. I have a sanctuary. It's $33 a month. Every week we go live, we do readings, and you get sessions with me, and you always get bonuses. All right? You get bonuses for my other works as well. Find my books, Confessions of a Shower Tapper, Portals of Energy, Freddie Silva, and even my tarot cards. You can find those on my website. And here's some of the things I was talking about as I've been working with that new image of myself. I'm now going to be in this Akashic Records Summit coming up at the end of the month with these other amazing teachers. And this just happened. I'm so excited. I'm going to be part of this Expand conference with these amazing teachers, sharing about the book that I wrote in with Freddie Silva about the Akashic Realm and how I do that work. That's coming up in Atlanta. I'm super excited about that. And then the other big news too is my new show coming up. It's going to be on TV. It's called Soul Messages, and it's going to be with the Etheric TV. I am so excited about that. What a great opportunity. So this is how I did it. Going from that lonely little girl, well, I'm not little, but that lonely girl, 2 small children, heartbroken in New York City, to finding my way, raising my kids, moving back to Birmingham, bringing my work forward, writing books, podcasts, meeting people, and now these other amazing events, getting my show on TV. you can do it too. When we work with our soul and the journey, you can do it too. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Notice how you feel. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this work. If you'd like to stick around after and ask questions, I'll be here for you. But before we go, I do like to close our energy. So take a nice deep inhale and exhale, bringing the hands right up to your heart, closing the eyes for a moment, inhaling, grounding your energy all the way back down deep into the earth, coming back into the heart. Gratitude. Gratitude for your soul, the journey, the ups and downs, the ins and outs. Gratitude for that connection we have with the greater spirit, source, creator, God. Gratitude for showing up for you tonight to learn about your own spiritual development. Inhaling and exhaling. We all separate out our energies, although we are all connected. Feel yourself grounding with Mother Earth. In the Akashic Realm, I always have to make sure I say where I am, the time zone, right here, right now, Wednesday night, January 8th, coming back. One more deep inhale and exhale to your spirit. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll put these links in the chat. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to talk to anybody. It does help when we have the opportunity to confirm. Yes, so thank you. There those are. I'll send out a follow-up email, 24 hours, and then it goes away. So thank y'all all so much. Questions? Comments? How do you feel? What do you notice? All right, everyone, then. Thank you. 24 hours. Don't delay. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Hey, Pixie, I got your application. Thank you. Monica, good to have you in our class tonight. Thank you so much. Bye now.